All right. Qualifying RECS. Qualifying RECS. How do you do it? What is it? And what difference does it make? So imagine if every customer you went to had, those big old nice houses with like the double kitchen? Like you have one kitchen for viewing and then one kitchen for like prepping food and cooking. If you've ever been to a house like that, like that's a really big, nice house. That person's gonna buy like an ultimate set if they don't already have like 3 ultimate sets in their garage or their closet or something like that. What about those demos that you go to and you see like a brand new big old Ram TRX in the front yard, or a Ford Ford Raptor in the front yard? What about when you pull up and you see Mercedes in the front yard? When you pull up and you see like a nice lawn and a big old house, and you're just like, man, I feel good about this demo. I feel like I know I'm going to close here. I know I'm going to sell something. I can just walk in and breathe and they'll buy something from me. Those are the types of customers that you're really excited about doing demos for, right? You're going to close. Well, what if every customer was like that? What if every demo was like that? You might think that's crazy. You might think that that's out of reach, out of touch. It's not possible for you. You don't know people like that. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Spencer Campbell. Spencer started this job in Austin, Texas. And when he started this job, he had a normal customer base just like everybody else. Went to high school, played sports in high school, so he had his teammates' moms, his teachers, his parents, the people his dad and mom worked with, things like that. So he was a normal rep. But I remember whenever I was running a branch office, Spencer was a brand new, like kind of sales rep. He wanted to be better at the job than normal. He actually decided to drop out of college to do the job. So he wanted to like kind of really hone the skill. And so I remember him telling me, he's like, man, I want $1,000 average order. So imagine that. Imagine having $1,000 average order. Every order you place is $1,000 or more. How good would that feel? How much more confident would you be knowing like every order you place is going to be more than $1,000? It's not just that he wanted $1,000 average order. He also wanted a closing percentage of like 80 to 90%. That's a lot, right? So if he did 10 demos, he'd close on 8 or 9 of them and sell $1,000 per order. So in 10 demos, he'd sell like 8 or 9 grand. Sounds crazy, right? I was like, dude, you're insane. I was like, you're crazy. Like that's unheard of. That's unreasonable. And he said, well, other people are doing it, so why can't I do it? And those other people he's talking about are field sales managers, or field sales leaders, or CSPs in the business. When somebody like Sean Henry or Curtis JQ sits down on a demo, they're probably going to sell $1,200 or more every single time. Okay, they're going to have a closing percentage of 90%. They're going to close deals. So a lot of it has to do with the skill set. They know their scripts, they know their manuals, they've practiced, they've put in the reps, they've put in the work, they've been doing this for a long time. But another thing about it is, I remember asking Spencer, how are you going to average $1,000 order? He said, I'm going to see the best customers. He's like, I want to know that if I'm walking into a house, this person is either a doctor, a lawyer, or a dentist. I want all of my customers to be doctors, lawyers, dentists, business owners, or real estate agents. Because then I know that they can afford a quick $1,000 here or there. And he's like, if they're not, I'm still going to do a demo for them. But I want to get to the point where every single demo that I do is for somebody who's a doctor, dentist, lawyer, business owner, or real estate agent. Because I know they can drop $1,000 if they needed to, if they wanted to. And I said, well, how are you going to do that? He said, well, I'm just going to ask for them. I'm going to get really good at getting recommendations, and I'm just going to ask for them. So one thing, I remember watching Spencer do a workshop on this, and one of the first things he said to do is that if you're going to curate your customer base, in other words, target a specific type of customers, you first need to identify who that customer is. So who's your dream customer? Okay, I want you to write this down. Who's your dream customer? What do they do for work? Brees has already done this before, but it's always good as a refresher, good as a reminder, good to refocus on who you're targeting. So who's your dream customer? What do they do for work? How much are they going to buy from you? $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000? How much is your dream customer going to buy from you? How many recommendations is your dream customer going to give you? Are you going to crack jokes? Are you going to have fun? What's the demo vibes like? How does it feel? How is the demo with your dream customer? Write down a couple adjectives. It's fun. It's exciting. I loved it. She's sweet. They got kids. We played video games after. We played Fruit Ninja. We did this. We did that. We ate food. They invited me for dinner. Who's your dream customer? Identify them. Target them. Write it out. Call your shot. How many recommendations do they give you? What kind of recommendations do they give you? What kind of recommendations do they give you? Do they send them a heads up text? Do they call them for you? Do they set the demos up for you? Do they just let you do it? Do they just give you their phone and say, hey, go crazy? Identify your dream customer. How many kids does your dream customer have? You might think this is like crazy or irrelevant, but play along. How many kids do they have? What are their hobbies? What do they do for fun? What do they do for fun? What do they do for fun? What other details can you write down about your customer? Do they have animals? Who's your dream customer? Hopefully you have a clear picture of your dream customer. You know what they do. You know what they do for fun. You know about their family, how many kids they have. How often are they cooking? How much they're probably going to buy. How many recommendations they're going to give you. If they're going to send the heads up text for you. You know all this stuff now. You've identified it. So now that you know what you're looking for, now you have all the things in the world to ask your customers, Mrs. Jones, do you know anybody who, fill in the blank with everything you wrote down. Not everything, but just one at a time. Do you know anybody who's a dentist? Do you know anybody who's a lawyer? Do you know anybody who is nice enough to watch my presentation? Do you know anybody who works in real estate or the medical field? Do you know anybody who loves to cook? Do you know anybody who likes to golf? Do you know anybody who does barbecues and family cookouts? Do you know anybody who has like kids, like 2 or 3 kids? Who do you know that has a big family, Miss Jones? This is qualifying RECS. This is calling your shot. This is asking for what you want. You just identified your dream customer. So now you just say, Miss Jones, do you know anybody that, fill in the blank with one of those characteristics? And you're starting to curate a customer base around finding your ideal customers. So that's part one to qualifying your RECS. You need to know who you're looking for. You need to know who you're looking for, and you need to know how to ask for that customer. So you say, who do you know that likes to golf? Who do you know that likes to play tennis? Who do you know that likes to travel? Who do you know that lives in the colonies, Miss Jones? Who do you know that loves to cook? Who do you know that has kids? Who do you know that loves TV? Mr. Jones, I love working out. Who do you know that loves to work out too? I'm looking for a gym partner. I'm looking for a trainer. I'm looking for somebody nice to watch my presentation. Play the who do you know game. So identify your target customer and then use those identifications, all those things that you just wrote down, to ask your customer, do you know anybody that blank? Okay. Now, that's part one, is to ask for them when they're giving them to you. Okay. Now, let's say you have a list of 5, 10, 15, 20. Now you go through the list with them and you say, Mrs. Jones, can you tell me a little bit about each of these people? Tell me a little bit about Mrs. Smith. What do they do for work? Do they have any kids? What do they do for fun? Cool. Next one, next one, next one, next one. After you go through the whole list, then you say, Mrs. Jones, if you were me, who would you go see first? If you have a big list, say, who are your top 3, top 5 people? If it's only like 5 or 10 people, then I would say, okay, if it's only like 5 people, then I'd say, who would you go see first, Miss Jones? Who's number 1? Qualifying your RECS is going to put you into better networks so that you can have higher quality demos. You can increase your average order. You can increase your closing percentage. Your demos are more fun. You're more confident. You make more money. You make more sales. Life is good. With one simple thing. At the end of the demo, when you ask for RECS, you ask for who you want, number 1. Do you know anybody that loves to golf? Do you know anybody that loves to cook? Do you know anybody who has kids? Do you know anybody who barbecues and throws big old family cookouts? And then you ask for them, who would you see first? And you get to know a little bit about each customer. What can you tell me about Mrs. Jones? Does she cook? Do you know if she likes to cook? Do you know how do you know her? Where did you meet her? Do they have kids? Do they have a big family? What do they do for work? Great, Miss Jones. What about this next one? What about this next one? What about this next one? And write down little notes next to their name on the paper so you remember. So you're not going to remember off the top of your head. So write down little notes. That's part 2. Is qualifying them after you get them. That way, if somebody's like, oh yeah, that's my daughter. Oh, well, can you tell me about them? Oh yeah, she's in school, she goes to tech, she's really sweet, I'm sure she'd watch a presentation. Oh, thanks so much, Miss Jones. And after the demo, you cross her out because you know you're not gonna call her for a demo because she's not a qualified customer. So qualifying your RECS is gonna allow you to target your best people from each list. If you booked a demo from your top 2 people from each customer, and they were truly the best 2 people that they knew, how quickly until your customer base is entirely different? How quickly until everything is different? This is a good example. Got 10 RECS from this lady, Christofavo. I think she bought one piece or something, a party pack. She bought something to help me out. Ms. Jones, out of these people, who would you see first? She said Marion Farley and Myra Farley. That's my aunt, my cousin. I said, okay, cool. I got to know a little bit about each person. Look, this person's from SES. This is her cousin. This is her cousin. This is her cousin. SES. Used to teach at SES. That's all school. She said Marion Farley and Myra Farley are my best people. Marion Farley, you know that story? Maybe you've heard it before, maybe you haven't. I was SC1 after it's a 15-day push, 14-day push, After 10 days, after 9 days, I was at $1,500 in sales for the push. Day 10, I went out and I did a demo for Myra Farley. She bought a galley set from me. And I finished the end of that day at like $3,800 for the push. So Myra Farley was one of my like first set sales for that push that allowed me to get some momentum. The next day I saw Marion Farley. She bought a signature set for me. I ended that day over $8,000 in sales. Myra and Marion were some of my biggest orders that allowed me to sell 10K for that push. And they were Krista Favel's number 1 and number 2 customers that she said to go see first. I also went to see Jill Jacobus. She bought a small piece pack, nothing crazy. Jennifer Hurst, she never picked up, never booked a demo. Kelly Means, she bought like $500 worth of products from me. Oh wait, that's not true. She bought like $300 worth of products from me. You gotta go ask about the customers. These people, looks like I did not qualify those people. I'm looking for one specifically. Where's Lena Todd? I did not do this every time, and that bit me in the butt. When I did do this every time, it made all my demos so much better because I was seeing people that actually were good people because I was targeting and focusing on them. You know why? Because my customer said that would be the best person. Here she is. Lena Todd. My best customer that never bought. Lena Todd is my best customer that never bought. You know why she's my best customer that never bought? She wanted a signature set. She was so excited. But she had to talk to her husband about it. She was like on the verge of buying it right then and there. She said, let me talk to my husband about it. I couldn't rebook the demo. And her husband said no. But you know what happened before I left the demo? What did I do? I asked for recommendations. And she was so excited about how hard I was working, what I was working towards, and she loved Cutco that she gave me 22 recommendations. I numbered to 20, and she added 2 more at the bottom. Okay? From this list was my summer. This list was the rest of my summer. This branched out and allowed me to sell $30,000 in sales. And from this list came the summer of 2021 where I sold $55,000. So without Lena Todd, I don't know where I'd be at. But I still asked for recommendations and I qualified them. So Chrissy Shipman, she lived in San Antonio, never picked up. Tracy Harrison, she was like, oh, you gotta call her, she's the best. I called her and booked a demo, rescheduled, never happened. Rusty Pitts, did a demo for her, she didn't buy anything. Sabrina Lewis wanted to buy the Homemaker, didn't buy anything. Melinda Tidwell, didn't buy anything. Jill Ramsower, she bought like $400 worth of product. Jessica Hamilton never bought anything. Misty Neufeld bought like $1,200 worth of stuff, gave me another like 10 or 15 recommendations. Rainey Neufeld bought like $500 worth of stuff. Beth Presley bought like $800 worth of stuff. Courtney Neufeld bought like $700 worth of stuff. Carrie Nelson bought a Homemaker. Danae Hudson didn't buy anything. Donna Hempthorne never booked. Jennifer Neufeld no showed me. I showed up, knocked on the door. By the way, that's the wife of a billionaire. He's a billionaire in Lubbock. I actually met him later through a Christian organization. I was like, Neufeld? He's like, yeah, my wife's Jennifer. I was like, oh, I knew you guys. They're billionaires. But no showed me at the door. Knocked, didn't show up. Carrie Schoolvelt, didn't want to book a demo. Denna Goen, didn't book a demo. Lisa Reimer bought a galley set from me. Melanie McKenzie, Gayla, Susan Felicia bought a Homemaker from me. Vicky Burgeon also bought something for me. I don't remember what it was. Maybe a cutting board or something. From those people, I got more and more recommendations. Beth Presley, my favorite demo I've ever done. You know why? She's the third cousin. Her husband's the third cousin of Elvis Presley. I'm a huge Elvis fan. That was my favorite demo I've ever done. I literally geeked out in front of everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I remember building rapport and they're like, yeah, we're from East Tupelo, Mississippi. And I knew that that's where Elvis was from, but I didn't put together Presley, Mississippi, Tupelo. I was just like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, they said Tupelo and I was like, oh yeah, that's in my head. I was like, that's where Elvis from. So that's cool. And then somehow we I was talking about my dad, and my dad loves Elvis and things like that. And she just looked at him. She was like, are you going to tell him? And he was like, yeah, well, I'm actually kin to Elvis. And I was like, no way. I stopped the demo, cut everything off. I was like, what? Tell me. Like, what are you talking about? You're kin to Elvis. You're lying to me. Anyways, I built my customer base off this list. And these check marks were the people that she said to go to first: Tracy, Jessica, Misty, Rainey, and Vicky. And all those people, with the exception of Tracy, bought something, and Jessica and Tracy they never picked up or bought something. The other three did buy something and gave me a bunch of recommendations. And there's a bunch of people on this list that also bought and gave me lots of recommendations that she did not initially recommend. So, or obviously she recommended me to them, but they weren't part of her top 5 customer base. So that's why you always ask for recommendations and you qualify them at the end of the demo. If you don't do this, then you're missing out. And if you're not asking for the type of customers that you want to see, then you're also missing out. You got to be specific. You got to ask. You'll take anybody, but target your best people. Target the customer base that you want. Make sense? So my last tip for you on this is don't be afraid to bribe your customers. Give them a free piece of Cutco. Give them a free peeler, something. Okay, add something to the order. If they give you 20, if they give you 20 recommendations or more, give them a free gadget. If they give you 50 recommendations, give them a free knife. You should have a record of the most recommendations, and tell your customers the record. Most people are going to be like, oh, wow, that's a lot. But some person's going to be like, I could beat that. I've had that happen plenty of times. I would say, Mrs. Jones, for every 10 you become a sponsor, once you reach, if you give me 20, you become a double sponsor, blah, 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 blah. By the way, my record's 84. And they would be like, oh, I don't think I can beat that. No worries, Miss Jones. I believe in you. Like, you just support, like you just whatever, right? And then sometimes people are like, 84? I bet I could beat that. You don't need it to happen every time. You just need it to happen once, where they beat your record. So have a record. Keep track of that. Tell your customers. Make it a competition. Give them reasons that they want to support you. Why does a customer want to support you? Because they believe in your cause. They believe in what you're going after. They believe in the product. They like the product and they like you. If you do a good job showing the product, they're going to like the product and want to recommend it to their customers. If you do a good job selling yourself, they're going to like you and want to recommend you to their customers or to their friends. They're going to want to support you because they know it's going to help you out. So, bribe your customers with free Cutco. Make it a contest. Have a record book. Have fun with it. Don't take no for an answer. When they tell you no, find a different way to ask. Mrs. Jones, totally understand. If it was somebody else other than me, I'd be hesitant to give out names as well. But I promise it's just going to be me. I'll be super nice. And it's really going to help me a lot towards my scholarship. I'm going to talk to them the same exact way that I talked to you. By the way, was there anything that I did that was rude or came off pushy? No? Okay. If they say yes, then fix it. Okay, be better. But if they're like, no, okay, well, I'm not going to be pushy or anything like that. And I promise it's not going to go to my company or anything like that. I would still have that happen occasionally, but it should not be an every demo thing. If it's an every demo thing, then you're doing something wrong. And you need help. You need to get help. If it's an every demo thing where people are telling you, no. Don't just keep doing demos and not fix the problem. That's like, I don't know, trying to put out a fire with a water hose while you still have gas on. It's like, this is pointless. Like, this is a losing battle. Don't just sit there in the flame. Like, you gotta put it out. Fix the problem. Fix the source. Fix the root. So if your recommendation approach isn't memorized, shame on you. You've been here long enough. I'm talking to you guys here. I'm talking to you guys who watch the recording. You've probably been here long enough. to have plenty of time to memorize the recommendation approach. So if you don't have it memorized, then shame on you, and that's your fault. This job is clear as day, plain as day. What you put in is what you get out. So put more effort in to getting recommendations. Not on the demo. You don't play basketball and you never practice, and then you expect to hit the game-winning shot at the end of the game, and then you miss it, and then you're like, well, I'll get him next game. You don't pick up a ball until the next game. That's like asking for recommendations and trying to get better at it on the demos. You got to practice. You got to practice. You got to memorize it. You got to practice. Practice with your mom. Practice with your dog. Practice with yourself in the mirror. Practice with your recording of yourself and your voice. Practice, practice, practice. Call me up. Call Kristen up. Call Brooke up. Call Brees up. Say, hey, can I practice real quick? Okay. They might say no, but you got to try. So don't take no for an answer. You're allowing the no to be a no if you take no for an answer. And obviously, I'm not saying to be pushy. What I'm saying is get better. Get better so that you don't get those no's as often. Have you guys seen that guy who does the interviews with the billionaires and millionaires? School of Hard Knocks. He walks up, he's like, excuse me, how old were you when you made your first million? And he shoves a microphone in their face.
Maybe.
He's really famous on TikTok and Instagram, has like 18 or 20 million followers. Look up School of Hard Knocks sometime, and you'll see what it means to not take no for an answer. He's kind of pushy, but he gets it done. He gets what he needs, he gets what he wants. And the people always respect him for it. Okay, so what you don't see in those videos is you don't see the people who cuss him out and say, get out of my face, which definitely happens when you try to be pushy. I'm not telling you to be pushy. I'm telling you to be so good that they can't say no. Okay, I guess that's all I got. You guys have questions? Do you feel like you learned something, will add something, will change something to your demo?
I know last time when we talked about it, you had said, don't say, do you know anyone? Because you might be like, oh, I don't know anyone. You said, Mr. Jones, who do you know?
Yeah.
Saying, do you know anyone?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Instead of saying, do you know anybody, just say, who do you know that works as a dentist? Who do you know that is a doctor? Who do you know that works in the medical field? Who do you know that has a big family? Yeah. The who do you know questions and thoughts and programs. Yeah, makes sense. Other questions, other thoughts, other additions? Okay. Well, that's all I got for you guys.